This is Homeschool for Real, a series from 7 and All about dealing with behavioral issues, classroom management, and other things that can really suck the joy out of your homeschool day. Today's topic will be talking about when you feel like everything is your fault.
Your child is shy? Must be because they were homeschooled. We definitely don't have any shy students in my school. You do know that homeschooling causes deficits in social skills, right?
One big side effect of homeschool can be a surprisingly large amount of blame. If your daughter can't catch a ball, it's because she was homeschooled, and that's your fault. If your 12-year-old is shy and awkward, it's because they were homeschooled, and that's your fault. If there are any academic delays, it's because your kids were homeschooled, which is your fault. If your kids can't speak any foreign languages, it's because they were homeschooled, and that's your fault too. If your kids have any struggles at all in character, academics, development, integrity, it's all your fault because they were homeschooled. Homeschoolers don't have any easy places to point the fingers for their child's shortcomings. You can't blame terrible classmates for leading your nice, sweet, perfect child astray when their classmates are their own siblings. You can't blame an incompetent teacher or a school system that didn't take into account the unique needs of your child when you are teacher and school system. So what are you to do when you feel like everything is your fault? When you are teacher, principal, and parent all at the same time, it can feel like any struggle that your child faces, any quirk that they have, is all your fault. Sometimes the voices that judge you for homeschooling come from outside, but other times the voices that judge you and blame you come from inside. You begin to wonder if your child would be reading on grade level, or if they would have had more friends, or if they would have gotten more college scholarships had you chosen to put them in a traditional school. If you listen to the voices that cast blame long enough, the voices both outside and inside, you might begin to feel like if you had put your child into a traditional school, they would have automatically excelled at sports, music, and every other skill that your child may lack. A few years ago, someone told me, yeah, the reason you and your sisters aren't good at sports is because your parents homeschooled you. And I'll admit, I am not good at sports. It's not my forte. I have never been interested at throwing balls and kicking them around and chasing them and playing in competitive sports. It's just not my thing. And I don't know. If I had gone to school, would I have seen all the other girls playing sports and decided that I wanted to be more like them? Somehow, I suspect not. I have successfully been married to a runner for a decade now, without ever deciding that running is a way that I want to spend my time. Is this a personal preference, or is this a fault of being homeschooled? What can you do with the voices, both inside and out, that make you wonder whether every quirk your child has or every struggle that they face is a direct result of your decision to homeschool? Number one strategy you can use is to ignore the voices. There is no reason that you have to get into a detailed explanation with any random critic about the value of homeschooling and why you made this lifestyle decision. It's an easy shot for random people to just say, oh, it's because they're homeschooled, about any struggle that your child has. And if this person is not a key part of your life and your child's life, it's easy enough, just let it slide. Number 2, encourage complex thinking, both for yourself and for any others who may be blaming you for this choice. The problems of childhood are not so simple that they can be boiled down to being sent to a traditional school versus being homeschooled. The real problem is that children are persons. They are individual persons. They are whole selves. No matter what way you educate them, they have their own quirks. They have their own passions. Those passions may or may not be fashionable or profitable. They will each face their own battles in life. As parents, we are not modeling figurines in our image of the ideal childhood. We are raising humans, and that's something entirely different. Number 3, realize that blame is not the goal. We have a joke in our family. We say, blame is really important. We tend to use this during conversations when we're realizing that we're straying into the topic of just trying to find somewhere to put the blame instead of trying to find a solution. When you are solution-focused rather than blame-focused, you can actually get somewhere. You can actually make some progress. So just stop trying to put the blame. Is it homeschool? Is it traditional school? Stop with that game. And if your child is facing struggles, focus on those and see where you can make progress and where you can make improvements. And fourth, own it. If you homeschool or if you make other odd parenting choices, your children are likely going to turn out a little bit different from our peers. This is what's called natural consequences. And you have to be prepared for that. And because most of my family, most of my siblings were raised overseas, they didn't necessarily have the same opportunities that they would have had if they had grown up in the country of our citizenship. And that does cause some differences. They're not able to do some of the things, they didn't have some of the same experiences that others did have. When you make different choices, you're going to turn out a little bit different. But there's one question, why are we so worried about being different anyway?